No, but I feel that it's quite heavy today.
Yeah.
Do you feel that, Andrea?
Um, I'm not sure.
It's really funny because when I came in, on my way here to the office, I was feeling quite excited.
Mm.
Yeah.
And I asked, is this an ego excitement or is this, am I experiencing higher awareness? And I didn't get an answer in words, but I felt the answer was higher awareness, that I was, lifting out of, lower vibrational experience. And,
Hmm.
it was a real light feeling, real sort of light, happy feeling. That was it. When I asked the question, am I experiencing like ego excitement or is this higher awareness? And I had that emotional reaction that I get when it's higher awareness.
Yeah.
Um, and yet, since we've connected to ask questions, I've felt very heavy. I'm finding it difficult to stay tuned in. Um,
And here we have another example. Thank you for that connected conscious thought. You are now experiencing for purpose of the record. You have allowed this discussion to continue, and thank you for that explanation. When you are feeling heavy, when you are feeling low, when you are given those feelings to experience, it is not the identity, it is the consciousness. And those who are ready to experience greater awareness are given light and love to allow themselves to expand into as an identity. And from that baseline awareness that is higher vibrational light, the understanding of what is consciousness in polar form can be given through experience. We have provided this for the record for all those who are listening are needing in their awareness of mind to understand what is consciousness.
Mm.
In vibrational capacity, we can place heaviness onto any single individual physical body. In vibrational capacity of highest light, we can place high love, light, laughter, and pleasure. It is no different. It is simply a consciousness placed within the arena of life, within the football field, within the goal set for discussion. All that we have achieved today in the recording is for those who are needing to experience consciousness. In the room today, we have Laura, we have Kath, and here we have Andrea that is channeling the vibrational explanation of consciousness. Laura has nicely demonstrated, thank you, that the question and answer is given at the same time through vibrational capacity. Catherine, you have also demonstrated quite nicely that the mind wanders given for purpose and have explained the expression of low vibration and higher vibration through your experience. Without experience, there is no understanding, and those who listen to this recording will require explanation further of the consciousness, and we will be given this later in time and space. But for now, we thank you for your participation in this wonderful experiential platform that is life, and the explanation we have been able to provide through your current present identities. Laura, please can you channel in your highest awareness what is given to you now? Thank you.
Well, I was going to ask if you could lighten the atmosphere in the room. The light that you seek at this moment is also a consciousness, This is something that can be turned on quite easily yourself. The mistake, for want of a better word, is often made that we have to ask for an external adjustment. This adjustment is made on the physical form, in the mental awareness, remembering that you are not your body. You can dictate what it is that your body experiences, and you can decide how you feel. It is all a decision. All of it is of your making. Therefore, the instruction that you have given yourself is to feel lighter. And yes, you do feel lighter. This is like turning on the genetic. And if you wish to turn it off and feel that low vibration once more, you can do so. It is as simple as that. Turning off only gives you the opportunity to experience more and more and more until you choose to turn it on and experience something else. That's all it is.
Catherine, you have been given a thought. Please, can you expand? Thank you.
It's just got a Ho'oponopono. I don't quite know in connection with what, but I just got given Ho'oponopono. I think just maybe it's when I hear a Ho'oponopono, it's a reminder to me that everything that I experience because it's in my mind. And it's in some way my creation, not mine as in me, Kath, but in the mind. That I find that the borders, the boundaries of my mind tricky to describe. But Ho'oponopono reminds me that everything is within my control in a way, if I don't try to control. If everything's within, everything I experience is experienced because of what's held in my mind. And it's for me to accept and love, release or transform. I'm reminded when we talked yesterday, I talked about this awareness that everything is, when we find something challenging, we can be reminded or remind ourselves that it's not, you can identify yourself as, the person, the human being being challenged, or you can see that it's experience that's being given. And I said about I'm just being reminded of this conversation, that if you think of what you're experiencing as just something that's given, and your reaction to that is, oh well, it's not me, it's not real, I accept it, but it's not me. So in that moment of not identifying as the experience, there's a risk that there's an element of rejection in that. And I think what I've been getting over the last sort of 24 hours particularly is this sort of understanding, this clarity that when we're given experience, we are meant to experience it with love and acceptance. So it's not a case of thinking, oh okay, this feeling I'm getting, it's just been given me, it's not really me. But not to reject it, not to dissociate from it, but to say, okay, so this feeling I'm given, it's not, I don't identify it as it, but I welcome it, I accept it, I allow myself to feel it, I experience it. And I'm not sure where I'm going with this, but that's sort of that's just something that's been brewing in my mind, in my thoughts for the last sort of 24 hours. This sort of slight difference in response to the knowledge that what we experience isn't, it's not our higher self, it's not our soul, but it's an experience, it's experience to be had. Am I making sense?
Yeah, you are perfectly, because I was given something this morning and it was quite amazing. I was actually given, as I wake up on a morning, I'm usually given channeling, which explains things to me for a purpose of, reading into the books. But this morning I woke up in a deep state of depression. And my first instinct was, this isn't me. What's going on? Why am I waking into a deep state of depression? And I did what I normally do and just sat with, this isn't me, and expected to get through it, because normally when I don't identify with it, it immediately lifts.
Ooh.
But this morning it didn't. It just carried on, and I was like, okay, so I'm not this, but it's not lifting. So the channeling basically said, it's not you, but just enjoy it. Just accept it and just enjoy it. Enjoy that misery.
Yeah.
Right, okay. So this was before I'd opened my eyes. I basically spent must have been about 10 minutes thoroughly enjoying the misery.
Yeah.
And then after 10 minutes, I had the continued thought of, this isn't me, and it immediately lifted to just this wonderful light feeling of, okay, there you go. You've enjoyed that misery. That's long enough. Carry on.
Yeah.
It's really amazing. And then obviously it's tied in with what you're experiencing now, Cass.
The analogy I think
the last 24 hours. Yeah.
the analogy I gave yesterday, and it was only after I said it that I realised that it's something that I had experienced. Do you remember? You know how I don't like the cold?
Yeah.
And it's something I've really struggled with. Don't like getting in cold water. Don't like cold weather. I'm fine if I'm really wrapped up. If I'm sort of protected from the cold, I'm fine. And over the last few years, I've worked with the that fear of cold and been trying to push myself to accept it. And people have people used to say to me, oh, just when it came to cold water, oh, just jump straight in, get it over with. And what I was getting when I was trying to sort of get really deal with this fear of cold, this dislike of the experience of being cold, what I tried to do and what I did do was walk in slowly into the water and accept every bit of cold, and in the acceptance of it and allowing myself to feel it fully, it helped me to not only find it bearable but be comfortable with it. And then it's a little bit like that. And then yesterday I said to you, it's a bit like looking at cold water and saying, okay, I know this is cold water. I know I have a dislike of cold water, but this dislike is not me. I accept the cold water, but at the same time not being willing to get in the cold water. Mm-hmm. So when you wake up with a feeling of depression or you feel anxiety, if you sort of try and stand back from that and separate yourself from that and say, okay, I'm not going to identify as that. I know it's not me. I know this is something that has been given to me for experience, whatever. But you dissociate. If you separate yourself because you don't identify with it, in a way you're holding yourself. You're holding back the opportunity. You're not allowing yourself to transform. I think it's necessary to allow yourself to fully feel it, and allow, with that, with acceptance, with love, with appreciation. I've done this with pain. I know I've talked to you about pain before, but in that moment of extreme pain, sort of saying, okay, I accept, let me feel it. I accept this, and if this is what I'm meant to feel, I allow myself to feel it completely. And in that moment of full acceptance and full willingness to experience it.
It's almost like saying, come on, bring it on then.
Yeah.
Okay, bring it on.
Yeah, it disappears. Now,
Yeah.
I'm also aware that, over the years that we've been working and we've been shown things, everything that we get is absolutely perfect for that moment, that part of our process of gaining higher awareness. I say gaining, but moving towards higher awareness.
Yeah, remembering truth.
So like what you said before, in the past, if you'd have woken up feeling depressed, you'd have said, okay, this isn't me, and it would have passed, because at that point in time it was important for your learning to have that. You needed that feedback in a way. When you didn't identify as it lifted, because that's what you needed to understand at that moment. And now we've moved on a step, and it's okay. Yes, we know that now. Okay, we've got this isn't me. But the next step is knowing it's not you, still fully experiencing it, but now with gratitude, with love, with appreciation.
Yeah, and like I said, for me this morning, it was actually an enjoyment. It was an enjoyment of misery. It was a real ironic feeling.
Yeah.
So can I ask a question then? This all comes under the banner of mental health. Last week when we started our conversation, Kath, I had opened a book and then you read the page, and it was I think it was a medical guy. It's one of these books up here.
Yeah.
The guy was medical, and I actually cut it out of the recordings because I couldn't really hear your voice. But the guy was the last port of call for the patients.
Mm-hmm.
Now he's like the first port of call.
Mm-hmm.
And his approach was more spiritual.
It was meditation and stuff. I can find the right page again.
Right, okay. So we are in the culture of suppressing our emotions via medication.
We reject them. We try to make them go away.
Yeah. So what is the question, Kat?
I don't know. Well, I have a left eye hold, which is, there's a question, and I didn't tell you also while I was talking, I got a knock, left side knock. So I think this is a communication from pain or discomfort or ego or something.
Okay. I want to know about suppression via medication, because most people are seeking medication in order to not feel, and it would seem that feeling is imperative.
I think our reaction to discomfort is to make it go away.
Yeah.
And it's the same, it's tempting to use, and this is the other thing that's been floating around in my head for the last 24 hours, is this temptation that growing awareness, growing understanding of how things, what the truth is, what are we here for, what are we experiences. The temptation is to think, well, how can I use this knowledge to make my life easier?
Yeah.
And I don't think that's a rejection of experience, isn't it?
It is. And I'm also, so I think a big question is forming, because I'm also remembering the conversation that we had about addiction.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking addiction to drugs, alcohol and food is to block out the pain with a sense of euphoria. Yep. So what's the question?
I think it might be a question about, you were talking about people who have were you talking about people having a breakdown? I have to say I was drifting off and I wasn't listening consciously.
Yeah.
But and part of the answer that seems to be coming in my mind is that, perhaps when we're if we have a strategy of rejecting experience, if we have the strategy of trying to, self-medicate or meditate. Is that self-medicate or meditate out of discomfort? If whatever strategy we use, if we don't, if we don't learn what there is to learn about from that distress or discomfort, then perhaps the breakdown point is the point of acceptance. When you have a breakdown, that's the point of you
release.
You crash right into the experience that you've been trying to avoid. You crash. The pain just gets to the point where you can't ignore it anymore.
But the stiff upper lip keeps you from that. It keeps you from that experience because you have to maintain a front. But to who? A lot of people think that they can't afford to have a breakdown because they don't know what's on the other side. But maybe it is their bliss that's on the other side. That and daydreaming. I've just written down medicate and meditate. The difference is one letter, the C and the T. That can't be a coincidence. Andrea?
Yeah?
Does anybody want to say anything? Do you want to say anything? Are we running around in circles?
No.
Was the left side communication still hanging, waiting to be heard, I think?
So someone wants to communicate with us?
Yes.
Yeah.
Very much so.
Okay.
It's actually somebody, female. It's a friend. It's a friend of Laura's. Let's take a break because this friend of Laura's that's wishing to communicate has something quite urgent to say, and it's not to be part of this discussion. So let's take a break and offer the recording a nice end.
Okay.
And thank you for the recording. And next time when we record, we will introduce this friend that Laura is to communicate with, but it's not for today's recording. I can sense that very strongly. The urgency of it is quite profound, shall we say.
Right, okay. We will end the recording there then. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.